Howdy everybody, David here, and this is another Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition mechanics breakdown tutorial. Now, today's particular tutorial, we're going to talk about one of the optional rules on page 263 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. And this is all about the Proficiency Die and the optional Proficiency Die rolls that you can do. Now, Proficiency in D&D 5e is a universal mechanic for every single class, from the Bard all the way to the Wizard. And as you can see here on the charts here where I'm pinging on the map, you start at level 1 with a proficiency bonus of +2. And as you can see, as you level up, your proficiency will increase by default. So at level 5, level 9 you'll go to +4, level 13 you'll go to +5, and then level 17 you'll max this out at +6. And like I said, this is for every single class in D&D 5e. So if you think these numbers are a little bit too strong, and maybe you want to add a little bit of randomness, then the Proficiency Die optional rules will be for you. And the more that I've actually thought about this, the more that I believe that I am going to incorporate the Proficiency Die, optional Proficiency Die, into my games. Now, in the Dungeon Master's Guide on page 263, it states that this optional rule replaces a character's proficiency bonus with a proficiency die, which it does add more randomness to the game and making proficiency a less reliable indicator of mastery. Instead of adding a proficiency bonus to an ability check, an attack roll, or saving throw, the character's player rolls a die. The proficiency die table, which is right here, it will tell you which die or die to roll as determined by your character's level. Whenever a feature, such as the rogue's expertise, lets a character double his or her proficiency bonus, the player rolls the character's proficiency twice instead of once. And this option is intended for player characters and non-player characters who have levels and is opposed to monsters who do not. So we're going to take a look at this, and I really like the proficiency die rolling. So as you can see, you're not going to have these solid numbers anymore. You're going to basically throw these away. Now, however, take a look at this. This is basically half. Like we'll say that level 1, your proficiency die, you're going to roll a 1d4. Half of that is 2. So there you go. It seems like the theme here is basically half of a die. So when you hit level 5, your standard is a +3 bonus, but from 5 to 8, you do a d6. So it's basically half. You're either going to hit the target or you're not going to hit the target. So I like this. It adds a little bit more randomness. And I really honestly think that proficiency is a little bit too strong as a set number because of the natural armor on most of the monsters just do not seem high enough to me. So I think the proficiency die will help. It's not going to, there's going to be a lot of high rolls, so you're going to have to take that into consideration. But I think the randomness will bring for some excitement into your game. And like I said, I'm definitely going to incorporate the proficiency die in my game, and it's really easy to do. I mean, like I said, when you roll your proficiency covers 3 or 4 things. So first off, most importantly, it's going to, proficiency is involved with your attack roll. So as long as you're proficient with a weapon, it would be a d20 plus your stat plus your proficiency die. So if you're using the proficiency die mechanic, it would be a 1d20 plus a 1d4 plus, say, if your strength modifier is a +2, then you would add +2 onto that. And then the total, it would be versus the target's armor class. I like that. 5th level, it would be 1d6, 1d8, 1d10, and so forth. Now, it does mention several things. You're also going to do this for your skill checks. So you're going to replace this modifier, this solid number, with a dice roll. You're also going to do that for your class saving throws, and you're also, what it does not mention here, your spell cast attack, which could fall under the attack roll because it would be the same thing as a weapon attack roll. So it does not mention your spell save DC. So if you're a caster or a hybrid class or a specialty class like a Arcane Trickster Rogue or maybe an Eldritch Knight Fighter, then you would still refer to the solid number for the proficiency bonus to add to your spell save DC. But any kind of attack roll, whether it be melee, ranged, or spell, also your skill checks, and also your saving throws, you'll add this proficiency die. I really like it. Now, it also mentions here expertise. The rogue does get that at an early level. So if you have, for instance, D4 at the time, you'll do 2D4 because you would normally double your proficiency, so it would be a 4. So you would just normally just take 2 1D4s and just roll 2s. Now, it does not talk about the Bard's Jack of all trades. Now, the Jack of all trades class feature for the Bard gives you half proficiency for any skill check that you are not proficient in. So what you would do is if your Bard does a check and he is not proficient with, say, strength athletics, then you would do a D4 and divide that by 2. So that is one way around Jack of all trades. Really easy. This could be incorporated into virtual tabletops like Roll20, and it can be implemented with dice around the table. I really like this rule, and I think, like I said, I think it gives the game a lot more randomness than having these high numbers. And there you go. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Also, if you enjoyed what you've seen here, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, if you need any kind of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition character sheets, I have over 840 on my website. Every class, every level, every archetype from levels 1 to 20. Take them, they're on those nice D&D 3-page PDFs. You can download them in your game, try them out. Link will be down below, or you can visit tabletopping.net. Thanks again, everybody, and I'll see you for the next video.